What up YouTube, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. And on this channel, we talk about crowdfunding, Kickstarter. Today, we're going through some of the manufacturing tips that I have for you. And we're trying to figure out how do you get this idea into your head, into the physical world, and get this out there into the hands of your customers. All right, let's go through some of the tips that I have for you when it comes to manufacturing. You know, manufacturing is this really big, colossal problem and headache. It's a lot of new material. If you've never created a product before, it's going to be a lot of learning. It's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of figuring things out. So I want to kind of help and speed up the process here. Manufacturing is so complicated that I'm going to distill it into 5 simple tips. And if you stay around until the end of the video, I think I'm also going to include a few bonus tips for you, no matter where you are, what stage of this process you are. I think it's going to be really helpful for you. So the first tip that I have is that all of this manufacturing process starts with a prototype. This is the beginning of manufacturing. If you don't have a prototype, you're not really beginning to, embark on this journey when it comes to getting your product made. And what is a prototype? A prototype can be really simple. It could be just a functional prototype. It could be something that you've just put together, maybe cobbling wood or cobbling whatever materials, or just trying to put together some clay molding. A prototype could be literally made of anything as long as it demonstrates a rough size of what this product looks like. It could be showing people what it's going to feel like in their hand. You're basically taking this idea and going from a napkin sketch to something that is physical in the real world. It doesn't have to look necessarily like the full product is going to look. It obviously doesn't necessarily even have to have necessarily the functionality. It could be just a workable prototype that will give you like a sense of like, oh, okay, like I have to change the sizing measurements this way, or okay, like I don't know if this is going to be big enough or it needs to be larger, or you're just getting a sense of what this product, a rough prototype, will look like. From the stage of rough prototypes, there also are more advanced prototypes. So you can start with something that's really rough using just even household items. You're going to your local Home Depot, whatever. You could then take this and you can then have this 3D printed so you can actually see what this would look like, maybe in accurate measurements and all of that kind of stuff. You can go from 3D printed prototype to then a working functional prototype. So there's a stage here when it comes to creating an actual prototype, but that is the very first step. All too often I'll have like business owners come to me and they're like, hey Sal, I want to get this new product made. I'm like, oh great, like do you have any design files? Do you have any mock-ups? Do you have actually any kind of design or like a prototype? And they're like, well, no, I just think this is a cool idea. That's awesome. Like that's where everyone starts. Everyone has to start with a compelling idea, but you then have to get that idea out of your head and onto a sketch, even just using a napkin, and then getting that idea to a prototype that you can start to work with, and then starting to get into the design files and all of that. Once you have your actual prototype together, it's then important to think about, okay, so what is this thing going to be made of? And what is this actually going to be comprised of? And that's when you start to think about location. Location. Why do we think about location? Well, there are 2 reasons. One is that different locations around the world specialize in making different kinds of products. If you're going to get a new apparel item made, you're going to go to a different location if you're trying to get a technology gadget or a gizmo made. It's just kind of simple how these different areas around the world specialize in key skills. United States is very heavy in like services and stuff. Other areas, Indonesia, China, they all have their own different specialties. So you want to think about what product are you trying to make? What are the ingredients, if you will, of this product? What are the materials that you're going to need? And also, which locations around the world are well known for producing products like that already in the marketplace? Once you've decided on location, you're going to want to vet / study different factories out there. So what do I mean by vetting? Well, there are a lot of middlemen in the manufacturing industry, and middlemen can take the form of being like on Alibaba, where they could just be people that are trying to basically be in between you and the manufacturer and take a small cut for doing that. And this is what you want to eliminate. This is what you want to squash. You don't want to be dealing with middlemen. You want to be dealing with someone who is the actual manufacturer and can get your product made. So when it comes to vetting a factory, number one, you want to make sure you're dealing with the actual person. Number two, you want to make sure that that factory has the capability to make the product which you've designed in the prototype that you have. Have they made products like this before? Are they familiar with this particular manufacturing process? Can they send you any samples if possible? You want to vet and study factories because this is going to be a crucial element, obviously, of your supply chain, and you want to make sure you're not going with necessarily the cheapest option. You want quality products. You want to make sure that you're going to get and they understand the design files that you're giving to them and they don't have any question. You don't want to leave any guesswork up to their part, if you will. The fourth tip I have for you, and I can't say this enough, particularly if you're doing manufacturing overseas, is you want to get boots on the ground. People there that can supervise the creation of your product, that can actually do quality checks, that can make sure that the quality of your product is up to par, and that when your customers get a product in the mail, that it's actually going to be high quality, not something shitty or not something that's defective or something that doesn't look the way that you promised it. You want to have boots on the ground, people physically there. If possible, you yourself should go to this actual factory. Make sure that it's legit, make sure they have a good operation, that they understand your design files and what you're trying to get made there, and also that you can have quality checks as they're making your product. The fifth core tip that I have for you in terms of my manufacturing tips would be to seek out help if needed. Don't be afraid to seek out help. Yeah, I did say here, like, obviously you should try to only deal with the factory if this is your first time getting manufactured a new product, but you can also seek out help. People that will, for a price, be willing to be those boots on the ground, be willing to do the quality checks. I can include a link down below to a list that I put together, particularly if you're trying to get your product crowdfunded with Kickstarter or Indiegogo, a list of vetted companies that will actually help you with this. They'll basically just take this manufacturing problem off of your plate and they'll do it for you, and they will have quality checks and boots on the ground. So that is another option, is to seek out help, seek out knowledge, seek out education, just like this video. Now, those are my 5 core tips for you, but I have a few bonus ones for those of you who have longer attention spans. So I'm going to include just a few other tips here that will go into some of the nitty gritty with manufacturing. The first tip that I have as a bonus is to anticipate and to expect delays. Oh man, this is just kind of how manufacturing works. There are going to be delays. There are going to be delays from the manufacturer, maybe delays from global events that you can't even keep on, have no idea why it could happen. An act of God, a tsunami, an earthquake. There are always going to be delays in the supply chain, and to anticipate that as well as you can, to communicate with your customers and to make sure that you know this is going to happen. So you should always be aware of that. Another bonus tip that I have for you comes in terms of your intellectual property, your IP. Oh man. It's difficult when you're getting your product manufactured overseas to protect your IP. Now, the common response to that is, well, Sal, I have a patent, or, well, my brand is copyrighted. Of course it's going to be protected. The problem is that while, yes, you can have a patent in the United States or in the country of your choosing, the ability to enforce a patent internationally is costly. It takes a lot of time, and it's freaking difficult, man. Like, it's hard. So just because you have a patent does not mean your IP is necessarily protected abroad. You have to enforce that patent, and that comes with an added expense, headache, and time. So what I usually recommend when it comes to protecting your IP overseas, if you have a very intricate product with lots of different parts and moving things, you could always source the parts for the product from like different companies, and then you can put it together further down the road. So that way one company doesn't have all of your design files. They're basically all working piecemeal at this product, and then you're assembling it down the road. That's one easy way you can protect your IP. Another bonus tip that I have for you comes in the way of shipping costs. Shipping costs are going to be factored in to the demand and the overall value of your product. So one of the downsides, obviously, of getting your product manufactured in another country or somewhere that's far away from you and your customers is that that's going to then mean you have to ship those products over the world, over the globe to you, and then or to the fulfillment company, and then they send them out. So you have to start to think about not only the location of where you want to get this product manufactured, but also the shipping costs and how that's going to play into things. So maybe you have a fulfillment provider in that country if you're choosing, and they're sending it out in the globe to different areas around the world. Maybe it's being sent all to the United States. How is that going to impact, tariffs and duties and any kind of taxes and anything like that? You have to be aware of shipping costs, where the products are being moved to, and also how they're then getting to the hands of your customers. That's a bonus tip. When it comes to crowdfunding and Kickstarter, one of the very familiar or common ways to continue to raise funds and to continue to maintain momentum comes in the form of stretch goals. Stretch goals are basically SKUs on your products. Basically, you could be adding in a different color to your product, or a different variation, or adding in even an add-on or something like that. But basically, there's a different SKU to the product in some way, and that is going to affect your manufacturing costs. So be aware of, if you are thinking of doing crowdfunding in the future, if you're thinking of raising money on Kickstarter or Indiegogo and you plan to do add-ons or stretch goals, how is that going to affect the manufacturing supply chain? How is that going to affect your costs, and also basically the work that you have to give to the factory? The final tip that I got for you, my final bonus, is profitability. Profitability, man. The other costs. Profit is actually, I think, a rarely discussed topic. Ironically enough, like, we're in the business industry, but like, profit is rarely discussed. I've run businesses that generated revenue, but they didn't have enough profit for it to make sense to continue to operate that business. So when it comes to profit, you have to think about what are all the costs that go into getting this product out there into the hands of people. Costs in terms of marketing, costs in terms of advertising, in terms of the actual delivery, the shipping, the manufacturing, hiring employees, having people help out, doing customer service. These costs are going to eat into your profit margins, and at the end of the day, that profit is what then allows you to continue operations for the business, to reinvest money into your business, or to, if you want to, take that money and put it into your own pocket. So these are costs that aren't really talked about very much, but I think play a vital and a crucial role in creating a profitable business that is going to change your life for the future, is going to be just a career shifting move on your part. So I urge you, I know I've talked a lot about costs in this video, but it is a reality. It is something that I want you to be aware of. So down below, in the description of this YouTube video, I'm going to be linking to a list of some of the companies out there that can actually help you when it comes to vetting, when it comes to having boots on the ground. This is a list that I put together of vetted providers or vendors or companies, if you will. So you can check out a link in the description for that. I'll also link you up with my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula, which goes into addressing some of these different costs that that go into actually running one of these campaigns, the actual profit margins that you can expect if you do a Kickstarter campaign, all of that. I hope you enjoyed this intensive YouTube video. Thank you so much for sticking around. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman. Go and check out some of the other videos I got out there on the topics of crowdfunding, e-commerce, raising money, marketing. We should put out even more videos out there, I think, on manufacturing, because it hasn't been covered nearly enough, I think. So that might also be in the future if you subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for listening to me. Again, my name is Sal, and I will see you next time.